Have you ever wanted to learn how to play the piano but just don't know where to start? Hi friends, my name is Josh and today I will be giving you your first lesson on the piano. Today I will be teaching you what notes are and how to find any note on the piano. This is the first video in a series I am creating that are specifically designed for people who have never played the piano before, even people who have no musical experience and who want to learn how to play the piano. The reason I wanted to create this series is to show you that with just a little understanding of some basic music theory, you can begin to learn your favorite songs right away. Even if you have no musical experience, the piano is a great instrument for beginners because it lays out all the notes right in front of you. Like, there they are. If you have a piano, definitely have it in front of you during this lesson, but totally fine if you don't have one either. You can still learn from this lesson. All right, let's get started. First, let's talk about the layout of the piano. A typical piano has 88 keys, but if your piano doesn't have 88 keys, that's okay. You can still play almost any song. Notice that some keys are white, but some of the keys are black. The white keys we call naturals, and the black keys we call sharps and flats. The notes at the left end of the piano have a low pitch, while the notes at the right end have a high pitch. But what is pitch? We'll get back to the piano in just a second, but first we need to take a brief second to talk about sound. So a sound is created when something vibrates, like a ukulele string, and that vibration causes waves in the air. These waves then vibrate the little tiny muscles that are inside our ears, and that's how we perceive sound. One of the characteristics of sound is pitch, and pitch is basically how low or how high we perceive a sound to be. So the pitch of a sound is based off of how fast something is vibrating. If something is vibrating really slowly, like represented by this wave, it will create a very low sound. But if it's vibrating really quickly, it'll create a much higher sound. Have you ever wondered why a grand piano is shaped the way that it is? Well, it's because there are strings in it, just like a ukulele. In order to create a lower sound, the left end of the piano, the string has to vibrate slower, which is much easier to achieve with a longer string. But if you want a higher sound, the string has to vibrate a lot faster, which you can get with a much shorter string. Of course, if you're using an electronic keyboard like myself, all the sounds are digitally recorded, so you can still get really good sounds without having the huge size and weight of the piano. No strings attached. So there's actually an infinite number of pitches you can have, but in order to simplify things, we only use the pitches that we know sound good together. We give these pitches names, or what we call notes. Again, a note is the name that we give to a specific pitch. For example, if something vibrates at 440 Hertz, we would call that an A. In typical music, we actually only use 12 notes, 7 white notes and 5 black notes. The reason we have so many keys on the piano is because these 12 notes are repeated. We see the same pattern over and over and over again on our pianos. Let's start with the white keys. Instead of naming the notes by number, we actually use letters, A through G. Once we get to G, we repeat back to A, and then continue B, C, and so on. We only use these 7 letters because back when music was invented, the alphabet was only 7 letters long. Just kidding. I'm kidding. It's because the notes repeat. So how can multiple keys have the same name? We say that these notes are an octave apart. Octave because it is 8 notes away from our original note. Octave, octopus, octagon, you get the idea. 8. So remember these vibrations that we were talking about? Well, when you hear one vibration and then you hear a second vibration, but twice as fast, we can hear that it's the same note, but just 1 octave higher. That's why we can call these notes the same name. All of this to say, even though there's 88 keys on your piano, you're really only working with 12 notes, and that should simplify things a lot. If all this talk about sound and vibrations is still a little confusing to you, don't worry, just focus on the notes. I'm just teaching you these things to give you a little more understanding. Now, let's talk about how we can find these notes on our piano. Let's start with middle C. To find middle C, you want to find these 2 black keys right here that are about near the middle of the keyboard, and then right to the left of them is middle C. Middle C is kind of like what we call the center of the piano. You'll see this same repeating pattern like I showed in the diagram before, from this C all the way up through this B, and then this pattern repeated at every octave, up and down. So you can look at any set of two black keys, here, 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 and the note directly to the left of all of them is a C. So you can use the two black keys to find C, D, and E at any spot on the keyboard. The set of three black keys you can use to find F, G, A, and B. Up here, F, G, A, and B. Just look for the set of three black keys and you will be able to find any of them right away. Another way to do this is to start by finding a note you do know, like C, and then counting up. Say you want to play a G. C, D, E, F, G. You can also go down from C. C, B, A. We'll loop back because the notes repeat to G. So if you practice these notes just for a couple days, they'll become second nature to you in no time. Now let's talk about the black keys. The black keys are known as accidentals, or more commonly, sharps and flats. A sharp means the note is higher, and a flat means the note is lower. We denote a sharp with the hash or the pound symbol, and a flat with what looks like a small lowercase b. While all of the white keys have letter names, the black keys don't have their own letter names. They're only named relative to the white keys that they are near. If you have a black key to the right of the note, it is called a sharp, and if you have a black key to the left of the note, it's a flat. For instance, this is D sharp, and this is D flat. Another example, here's G, G sharp, and G flat. Now, you might notice that a black key is both to the right of one note and to the left of another note. Well, these keys can actually go by multiple names. This key can be known as D sharp or E flat, since it is to the right of D, but to the left of E. Lastly, there are just some white keys that don't have a black key above or below them. Take for instance E. To the left of it, it has E flat, but to the right, there's no black key. There's just F. So can you have an E sharp? And the answer to that is yes. Just like a black key can have multiple names, so can a white key. An F can also be E sharp. A B can also be C flat, and so on. With that being said, you now know all 12 notes and therefore all 88 keys on a piano. Alright, now let's talk about how you can practice these and learn these notes like the back of your hand. So how do you practice learning these notes? Well, there's a couple ways. The first way is just to play a note and say its name at the same time. C. Then do this for more notes. C, D, E, F, G. You can move up the keyboard or down. C, B, A, G, F. Just do that and keep doing it until you're comfortable saying the note names. It might take you a while, but you'll get used to it. Especially when you go from F, G, and then loop back to A and B. Once you get comfortable with that, you can start jumping. C, E, G, and just mixing things up. C, A, F, D, C. If you're comfortable with that, maybe even start to include sharps and flats. C, D sharp, F sharp, A, B, G, E, C sharp. Or flats. D, G flat, A, B flat, G. Just like that. Another way you could practice them is by saying a note name, for instance, E, and then finding it on the keyboard. Here's an E, here's an E, here's an E, and then try it for other notes. Maybe F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, like that. Once you do this a few times, it might take a little bit to get used to, but eventually it'll become so easy to you and you won't even think about it. Learning them is essential to being able to play the piano, so take some time doing it. And if you need to, go back in this video and re-watch some of the sections that were a little confusing at first. Alright, hopefully with just a little practice, you'll know all of the notes on the piano in no time. In the next video in this series, I'm going to be teaching you about key signatures and major and minor scales. I'm going to show you that most popular songs narrow down our 12 notes to using only 7, making it even easier to play your favorite songs. That video will be posted a week from today, next Sunday, so be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss that. And if you are confused by any of the topics in this video, don't hesitate to leave a question down in the comments and I'll try to answer that as best as I can. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you learned something, and if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. The more you watch my videos, the more it helps my channel grow and be able to make more videos like this in the future. While you're here, check out some of the other stuff I have here on the channel. I post tutorials and covers of popular songs, videos on learning the piano, and even some of my own original songs. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.